Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome to another Jets Media live stream. And today we're going to be previewing tonight's Jets and Eagles game with the special guest, Robby from Jets X Factor. Welcome in, Robby. How you doing today?
Richie, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, as always, I've been following you, like I said before we got into the show, for a while. Love what you guys are doing with Jets X Factor. So do you want to introduce yourselves to maybe some Jets fans that are not familiar with Jets X Factor? But I'm assuming every single Jets fan knows what you guys are doing because it's definitely the best, Jets content out there. So just want to introduce yourself to the people that might not know who you are, Robby.
Yeah, as Richie said, my name is Robby Sabo. I've been covering the Jets for a few years now, several years, I'd say. First for ESNY, which was a solely, founded and owned site. Pivoted to Jets Only, where me, Nani, and Blewett run Jets X Factor. And check it out. It's our goal, our mission statement is film and analytics in a combination. You have a lot of websites that just do analytics, but while it's a good tool, you can never get the true results. You always need experience with analytics, with numbers, with stats. And the same is true for film. You could break down film, 24 hours a day, but you still need supporting evidence. So our goal is, while we keep up with the news and while I'm at the practice and games, our goal is more on a film meets analytics type avenue. So I think Jets fans will like it, especially with what's going on in the league today and the way Zach Wilson's playing moving forward.
Awesome. I love that, guys. Robby's Twitter is down below in the description. Also, Jets X Factor's YouTube channel and their website is down below in the description. So make sure you guys go subscribe to them on YouTube, check out Robby on Twitter, and definitely check out their website. They're doing great things over there. So let's get right into tonight's game, Robby. You got to see the Jets and Eagles joint practice up close and personal the last 2 days. So just want to go over your takeaways from, what you saw from the Philadelphia Eagles side of things going up against the Jets, because as we know, we saw the Jets go up against the Packers in a joint practice, and unfortunately we got banged up. This week, we only had one really bad injury with Mekhi Becton going in concussion protocol, but outside of that, I feel like it was a positive coming out of the Jets camp. So what was your perspective being there firsthand?
Yeah, that Becton thing happened really quick Tuesday. I think Hughes spotted it first. He got sick, evaluated for a head, had to leave practice early. It was scorching hot. I mean, I put sunblock on. And, I'm kind of in the pale category, but I put sunblock on. And I still got burned. So I felt his pain. But overall, the Eagles' front seven really dominated things. They really did. It's kind of the same theme. The Jets O-line's playing well in the preseason, but they're not playing well in practice. I think there's a couple reasons for that. Becton is not a practice player. He gets up for games. He had to deal with Lawson, which all the reports are pretty much true. Lawson dominated him. But while all that stuff is true, I wouldn't take a apocalyptic mindset towards it, because if a good edge and good offensive tackle are battling each other all summer, the advantage is going to go to the good edge, because the good edge could set up that tackle. He could set him up with an array of moves. It doesn't work like that in football. You get 60 plays against a tackle, then it resets. In the summer when that happens, when good on good face each other, the edge is going to win. The guy who gets to set up the moves, the guy who's not defending. And Becton's sort of the defender, blocking, reacting. But the Eagles did play well. They really dominated the Jets O-line. The other factor is I kind of get the feeling, and it's tough to know for sure because you don't hear the communication, but LaFleur and Saleh sort of put the O-line, the rushing attack, in tough situations in practice. You don't know the situation. You don't know exactly what they're going for. Are they playing well? Is it a positive? No, they haven't been great. And the Eagles showed that this week. But concern is warranted, but I wouldn't go too crazy. So, this week, Wilson, same as usual. Again, he's doing a lot of stuff in terms of to see what he can get away with. He is quick. Everything he does fits today's game. I was a big Wilson guy back in, December, January. It's the longer stuff, the 5-7 step drop stuff, where his timing will be off in the beginning. And that's the stuff that'll get him in trouble. You see that in practice sometimes. Right now, in terms of the game tonight, it's going to be who plays. And right now, Robert Saleh's being pretty much coy, and we know a lot of the Eagles will play. So I think that's the big thing going in, and then coming out not being injured.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch up on Mekhi Becton really quick, it is interesting because, all these reports come out that he's struggling in practice. He's going up against Carl Lawson when he was healthy, obviously. But then if you look at Mekhi Becton's tape in his first 2 preseason games this year, it's absolutely flawless. Zach Wilson has not been touched once. The running game has looked solid. He got Mekhi Becton pancaking people. So I like that you did mention that Mekhi is more, a guy that shows up on game day rather than practice. And he likes to, take it back in practice. But at the same time, it is unfortunate, obviously, that Carl Lawson is out for the season. And that is a really, really big blow for this team. So do you want to touch up on what Carl Lawson's injury, and, we got even more injuries to talk about in Vinny Curry out for the year and Jared Davis out for 6 weeks. So what do you think this Jets defense really needs to do in order to have that next man up mentality? Do you think they're going to go out there? We saw a report that they're interested in trading for a veteran to fill in the void for Carl Lawson. And now that Vinny Curry's out for the season, it really makes more sense. So what are your thoughts of all these injuries to the defensive side of the ball?
Were you on Twitter when Lawson went down for that year, or on that day for the year?
I was taking notes. I take a lot of notes during practices from tweets from you and DJ, and I make recap videos. And when I saw that news, it just sucked the soul out of me, man. It was a very, very dark day for me and the entire Jets fandom.
So Lawson's interesting because, Jets fans should be upset, disappointed. It's not a normal free agent. Jets fans haven't had an edge rusher since John Abraham, legitimately. So that hope going away right away before week 1, they should be upset. It's a hit. Curry's a hit. Rankins is banged up. I mean, Jared Davis going down. I think the big takeaway here is 2 takeaways. Jets defense, I think, is going to struggle. I think when you're betting the Jets week to week, take the over, because I think the Jets offense is going to be surprising and the defense is going to struggle. But the other takeaway is free agency sucks. It just sucks. You don't build a team on free agency. It's a wild card. You never know what's going to happen. It's there to supplement the core. And I think Jets fans should be happy that Joe Douglas believes that and doesn't think he can go crazy in free agency and build a team from free agency. The furthest he'll go is a Carl Lawson for the money he got, in the 40, what did he get? 40 million range. So I think that's the true takeaway because, Lawson, there should have been more discussion. He had 2 ACLs. He has been hurt. But the fact that they were finally getting an edge guy, those discussions never popped up. And I understand why. It sucks for sure. Defense is going to be hurting. Hopefully some guys step up. It's going to be up to Bryce Huff. He's got to be the guy that steps up. Mm-hmm. JFM will be fine, but you don't want to rely on him on the edge. You want him in the middle, with Quinnen and Rankins in the rotation. And he'll play edge too, of course, but you don't want to rely on him there. So it's Huff. It's a couple other kids, maybe Rashed Jr. We'll see. It's going to be a tough one. And I don't think anyone should say Jets fans shouldn't be upset about Lawson because that's a killer. There's no way around it.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned, you cannot build through the free agency pool. As we know, the Jets' previous regimes thought that was the case when Mike McCagnon set this team up for failure. And Joe Douglas has a different approach. He's trying to build this thing through the draft, and he's only going to open up the bank for, investments in the line of scrimmage. And Carl Lawson was his biggest signing so far as the Jets GM. And that was at a premier position that the Jets desperately needed, fill in a void that Robert Saleh needs because the whole, foundation of this defense is getting to the quarterback. And we all know the Jets have lacked a true edge pressure for a long time. So definitely unfortunate that Carl Lawson went down. But what this does do is opens it up to other young guys, like you mentioned, Bryce Huff. Rashid, is he going to make the team? JFM, is he going to be sliding inside and outside? And definitely expect the Jets to make a move leading up, whether it's in the waiver wire pickup, because there's going to be a lot of good talent out there. We saw, Joe Douglas bring in Braxton Berrios and Ty Johnson in the waiver wire so far in the past couple of years. So definitely look out to see what Joe Douglas brings in this year in the next couple of weeks or so. So let's flip the script. Let's get out of the negative talk about injuries. Let's talk about some positives because this man right here, Zach Wilson, has looked pretty impressive so far in his first 2 preseason games. You can't read too much into it, of course, because he is going up against backups and it is only the preseason, but there's only positive things coming out of Zach Wilson. There is 0 turnover plays Everything you see from him is what a Jets fan want from your rookie quarterback: poised, confident, in command of the offense, having a connection with their number one receiver, Corey Davis. The offensive line is protecting him. You see the confidence. And the one thing that stood out to me about Zach Wilson so far in his first 2 games is he looks like he belongs. That's what you want to evaluate in a rookie quarterback first. We know he has the arm talent. We know why he went number 2 with the off-platform throws. And, the talent is there physically, but mentally, is he there? Does he have the playbook on the back of his hand? Does he have the instinctual ability to not get rattled in the big moment? And he just went out there and has a different swagger to him that I'm very impressed with. So, Robby, do you want to give your first impressions of Zach Wilson, in his first 2 preseason games?
So the next thing I'm going to write is about Wilson and overcoming the narrative. In high school, there was a bit of a narrative. In college, there was a narrative with BYU. Coming into the draft, there's a narrative. He didn't play anybody, so what? He's doing it against scrubs. Again, just lift the narrative to another level. Again, he looks great in preseason, but who's he playing against? Every time he's faced with this, he overcomes it. So, that's a great sign. He seems to thrive when it matters most. But other than that, when you're watching his BYU film, his coach's film, the traits are there. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the field. His traits are there. Everything he does is quick. His release, his feet, his mind. He doesn't overthink things. I always say this: if you're Steph Curry or Reggie Miller, you can't overthink things. You can't think about what's going to happen when you shoot. You just have to shoot. You have to be instinctive, natural, and that's what Wilson is. Previous Jets quarterbacks, I thought just thought a little bit too much sometimes. Wilson doesn't do that. His 3-step stuff is phenomenal. The placement, different examples against Green Bay. We saw the Corey Davis play right on the wheel. It was a busted coverage. And listen, the Packers weren't great on that game. There was a lot of open guys downfield. But what you want to take away is, like you said, his calm, his poise, his going through progressions, the moment's never too big for him. I think the best play he made was the first touchdown at Croft. You had 2 verticals down the side. You had slot right, in cut, slot left, out cut, and then the stick nod in the middle. He starts right, looks at the in cut. It's cover 1. There's a single high safety, and there's 2 hook zones with the middle linebackers. So he knows that in cut's not going to be there. Looks left, and yes, Croft was his number 2 read, but watch when he plays and he goes through progressions. His shoulders are always squared, and it's that fundamental stuff that's there. And it's actually improving a little bit under LaFleur. LaFleur deserves a lot of credit. But when he let it go and made the decision to let it go to Croft, a lot of quarterbacks would try to fit it into the middle low. But he didn't. He put touch on it, which he has. That's his best quality, his release and the amount of variety he has with his velocity. His touch is incredible. He could bullet it. He's got the touch. Trey Lance, something Trey Lance has to work on. But he led Croft away from the safety, which just was incredible for a second preseason game. So I think the Jets got the right kid. And I know Jets fans have been burned a million times, so they want to kind of take it slow, some of them. But I don't think you should do that. I think you should be excited. What you see from this kid is he shouldn't look this good this early. He shouldn't be doing this so easily. So I say get excited. Go for it.
I love that, Robby. I love that, approach to Zach Wilson, reminding Jets fans that it's okay to be happy right now. Don't let everybody out there say, oh, Zach Wilson's only doing a preseason. Like, listen, we just came off of one of the most historical bad seasons of Jets history. And there's a lot of those seasons, as you know, Robby. So I feel like Jets fans should be very excited about Zach Wilson to go through his progressions the way he is. Like you mentioned, being able to, look off his first read, look off the safety. His eyes are moving down the field. He's connecting his eyes with his feet, which he doesn't look like a rookie to me, Robby. He looks like someone that is a veteran out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that's so wild. And listen, getting excited doesn't mean you think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like,
exactly.
You still know he's going to struggle. You know this.
Exactly.
But, second team, yeah, it's a topic. The Packers, how terribly they played, yeah, it's a topic. But what you see, how he handles things, how he doesn't overthink things, it's well beyond his experience. And that's a huge positive. And also what they have going for him, always bet with coaching in the NFL. You always bet with coaching, because coaching and general managers turn programs around, either for the better or for the worse. And Wilson has a great ally in LaFleur and Salah in that system. So I think it would be tough to bet against him right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jets fans understand the expectations going into the season. We're not expecting an AFC East title. We're not expecting to go to the playoffs. This is a year to really build a foundation. We have a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach, rookie offensive play caller, and Zach is going to have some bad games. And we have to know that he's a rookie. He's going to have those ups and downs. What we need to look out for Zach is, how does he handle the adversity? How does he, does he fix his mistake? Does he make the same mistake twice? Because that was our problem with Sam, is he would make a mistake, he would not learn from it, and he would always overthink things. I always thought that was Sam's problem. It was too complex in his mind. So I love how you keep alluding to Mike LaFleur. So I want to talk about him real quick. What is your first impressions on Mike's offense? It's so refreshing as a Jets fan to see competencies, some motions, some actual good offensive play calling. So in the small sample size we saw from LaFleur's offense, and I'm sure he's holding back a lot because it is preseason. What's your first impressions on him?
Yeah, he's kept it pretty vanilla so far. A lot of the concepts you'd expect, the post, the slot wheel off a post, the mesh, a lot of boots. What LaFleur does that Gase didn't do. And listen, Gase understands offense. He knows offense. The problem is he never adjusted to today's offense. Today's offense is an east-west offense. You want to move the defense east-west to get chunks down the field, whether that's read option, where you're attacking the edge, whether that's jet motion, where you're attacking the edge, and that's why Elijah Moore was such a huge draft pick. You want the illusion of east-west, whether it's a boot, outside zone, to attack downfield. And Gase really never got there. See, Gase's offense was, Jets fans are going to think I'm crazy, but it was more potential, but it was just incredibly hard to achieve. You need a Hall of Fame quarterback to get to that potential. That's the problem. In LaFleur, it's less potential, but it's still a lot of potential, and it's a lot easier to navigate through. So, what you see from LaFleur is pretty standard, what you'd expect. They just need the offensive line to come together. They need Becton healthy, and I think Becton will be fine, going back to that earlier, as long as he stays on the field. Him not staying on the field is a huge topic. He just needs to. It's why the Morgan Moses signing is, as long as nothing happens with Moses, it's sort of genius right now, just in case. And AVT. I think AVT would be the best lineman after 3 or 4 weeks of him playing. But as long as that O-line is good to go, this offense is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, do you want to break down the second touchdown pass from Zach Wilson to Tyler Kroft? Because that play design was something just of beauty. So many misdirection. Yeah, it was the boot to Tyler Kroft on the left side, because that was one of those plays where that was LaFleur's touchdown. Tyler Kroft definitely made a man miss and got in the end zone yards after the catch. But do you just want to analyze that? Because seeing that play design was just so refreshing for me, because I haven't really seen that from the Jets offense in a while.
Yeah, you know what? I have to look at it again, because when I got the All-22, I didn't look at that one with the All-22. So I don't know what was happening down the field.
That's fine.
If I remember correctly, it was an 8-man box. See, the Packers love to start too high and then walk down to single high. I don't know what they did on that play exactly, but when you have success on the ground and you pound it early, and before the Giants game, the first game, I didn't expect much from Zach Wilson, because the run is the core of this offense. So LaFleur's not going to move on until he feels comfortable with what they're doing on the ground. So I think it was an outside zone. We'd have to look at it again. I think it was an outside zone boot where Kroft just came over like a sifter or a flasher and then just went into the flat, made a man miss and scored. That's a LaFleur touchdown. That's a Shanahan, Terrell Davis, 1998 touchdown.
Yeah. Because I think Vincent Smith was coming motion to the right, and then it was a fake handoff sweep, and then it was just beautifully play design from LaFleur. So I want to talk about this Jets offense in terms of the running approach, because as we know, this offense is all about that. It all starts up front with the run game. If you cannot run the ball, it's not going to, make this offense really open up, because it opens up the playbook with the play actions and all that great stuff. So what's your thoughts of the running backs right now? We got Tevin Coleman, the veteran, who's been in this system for a long time. Ty Johnson entering year 3, who we think is going to have a big role. The rookie Mike Carter, and then year 2, LaMichael Pirine. What's your thoughts of this running approach going into the season?
I think fantasy owners should stay away.
I agree.
Stay completely away. I think later on, eventually, Michael Carter will grab a hold of it. But for now, stay away because it's going to be everybody. It's going to be Ty Johnson. It's going to be Carter. It's going to be Tevin Coleman. Those are going to be the three guys. And they could each do a little bit. The only thing I don't know for sure is who's going to be the goal line guy. I think that's the only question mark. Tevin Coleman is extremely fast. He's the best receiver out of the backfield. So Tevin Coleman will have his time. But shared workload.
Interesting. Yeah, that's funny that you say that because I'm a sucker for drafting Jets in fantasy and it never works out for me. And I always tell my friends like, yo, don't draft the Jets running back. They always ask me like, yo, Richie, Michael Carter is like on the top in fantasy in terms of Jets running backs. And I'm like, yeah, I guess Mike Carter, but I think Tevin Coleman's going to get the workload, but don't even do it because Ty Johnson could be the guy. But on the flip side of things, if you want to talk about fantasy real quick, I would definitely consider drafting Corey Davis because he is going late in like the 8th, 9th, 10th round range. And that's pretty insane for someone that's going to get a lot of high volume targets. And also, I think Elijah Moore is a sleeper as well. What do you think about Corey Davis and Elijah Moore in terms of fantasy this year?
Yeah, get both guys. Get both guys. We don't know with Moore's injury stuff. We have no reason to think he will be injured often, but that's the only question mark. Get Corey Davis first, get Moore second. In Dynasty, get Moore first. And Moore is just, right from the get-go, you could tell he's perfect, just like Wilson. He's perfect for today's game. He's got the hips. He's shifty. You look around the league, you don't need monster receivers these days. The rules are different where you don't need a Randy Moss to have to win on the sideline. You could scheme up open guys left and right. It's impossible to cover. And with the jet motion being a staple in the league, you want those shifty guys. Look at the Chiefs. Who's the Chiefs one-on-one guy besides Kelsey in the middle? They got small guys, Tyreek Hill, Hardman, all of them. So Watkins could be considered an outside threat, but he's not there anymore. So that's kind of the way the league is going. So I think Moore is just an absolute superstar. He just has to get it done.
Yeah, man, I've never really been as confident in a Jets rookie, offensively speaking, in a long time in Elijah Moore. I think what separates him other than his physical tools, it's his mental ability. If you watch the One Jets drive where you feature him, he gets interviewed, and understanding him as a person and where he's at mentally, it feels like he is just so, on his game. And same with Zach. I feel like his mentality is very mature for their age as rookies. So isn't it crazy that would you agree that this Jets offense is going to be better than this Jets defense? Because that's never happened. When's the last time you can say going into a season, the Jets offense might be better than the Jets defense?
I don't know. 2015, where did it end up? Was the offense better than defense 2015? Maybe. I'm not sure. But going into the year, it's been forever.
That's crazy. I think Jets fans will take that. I feel like the reason is, if you look at Joe Douglas as a GM and what he's done so far in the draft the past 2 years, it's all offense early in the draft so far.
It has been. Season. It has been. And don't forget, there was a lot of calls for Jerry Jeudy or receiver in his first pick, number 11 overall. It's not so much the actual lineman he took. It's the fact that he ignored the noise and stuck to what's important. And that's inside out. That's inside out. That's trench play. And he stuck to that. So, a lot of GMs could have crumbled there and went with a superstar, less boring player. Although Becton is sort of a unique lineman in himself.
Yeah, he's a man of his word. He came here and said he's going to build this thing through the trenches, offensively and defensively speaking. We know the defensive line is definitely the best position group on the Jets, even with the injuries that's, suffered so far. But for Joe Douglas to go out there, his first draft pick to be Mekhi Becton, his second one to be Denzel Mims, and then the next draft class, the first pick in 2021 is your new quarterback, Zach Wilson. Then it's another offensive lineman in Elijah Vera Tucker trading up to get him. And then your next pick in the second round is another offensive player in Elijah Moore. And then your next pick is a running back, Michael Carter. So it's offense, offense, offense. Joe Douglas came here and was like, okay, previous Jets GMs, they really did not focus on the offensive side of the ball. And I need to change that. I need to build a young core to really, keep up with these offenses in today's NFL, because where the NFL is right now, as you know, Robbie, you need to have an explosive offense. Defense wins championships. But if you not have, fluidity on offense and you don't have an offensive line, nothing's going to work. And it's very refreshing to have somebody that understands a vision of long-term thinking to get the guys up front we have 2 firsts and 2 seconds next year. I would not be shocked if one of those, if not 2 of those 4, is up front on the offensive line again. So hats off to Joe Douglas from building from, the ground, the inside out. That's how you have to build the foundation for the Jets. So before we end off the stream, Robby, do you just want to give us your overall expectations for the Jets this year? Whether it's a win-loss record, that doesn't matter. What do you want to see this year from the New York Jets when it's all said and done, record aside, that you have optimistic approach going into 2022? What do you want to see from Zach Wilson as a quarterback, and especially Robert Saleh as his first-year head coach?
All right, really quick before we get into that, I found all 22 of the boot Croft touchdown.
Yeah, let's hear it.
What's important is they called it on 1st and 10. Okay, now the play before was a tight split zone, right up the gut, A gap, where Croft is doing that sifting, flashing motion on the kick-out block. So they ran it on, I forget what down it was, but they got the first down, 1st and 10. That's the thing, when you dial up these plays, it's huge. And 1st and 10 with 2 minutes left, defense is probably expecting run because they've been pounding the run all first half. That's as critical as anything. So 1st and 10, unless they got the yard marker wrong on the screen here. Jet motion, it's a loaded box, just a single high safety. So they're good against the run, double tight to the right, a close split to the left. And that's the thing with LaFleur. He's going to run a lot of tight splits because it really fouls up the defense in terms of how much you could press and line head up. A lot of it has to be from the outside, which leaves the inside open. You can't press. So it screws a lot of things up. Jet motion. So you got that east-west motion, which Andy Reid really broke out 3 years ago, his first year with Mahomes. Play action, and you can't expect a linebacker to cover that. Linebackers have to think run first. Actually, it might have been a safety, which is way worse. But that's a LaFleur touchdown. And the other thing was Zach Wilson, easy throw, right? Yeah, but the thing about Wilson and the thing about Brady, why people think Brady's so overrated, is you don't notice the little things. You don't notice how perfect the placement is, where the guy doesn't have to stop for a second. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's an accurate ball. How accurate is it? 75% accurate? 99% accurate? Did he stop it all? Did the quarterback save him 2 more yards going forward because he was in stride? That's the thing with Wilson. On the run, his hips, he could place it perfectly. His timing, his release is perfect. That quick release saves time. And watch that throw on the second touchdown to Croft. It's just the difficulty level isn't crazy. It's just so efficient that it deserves praise. So yeah, that's an excellent thing. Expectations, what did you ask? Record-wise or overall?
Just overall, record aside. And shout out to my man Matt. He's saying, you see what Matt says?
No, what's he saying?
He said, Robby Sabo is my boss, NYJ Matt.
That's NYJ Matt? Yeah, he's running Twitter right now, NYJ Matt.
I know, I love it.
Yeah, he's him and Mike, they have it on lockdown right now. They get really the party started. That's how I kind of view it.
I love it. So yeah, Robby, to finish off the stream, your expectations going into the season for Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh.
I think, Wilson, stay healthy. Becton, stay healthy. This is the troubling thing, as I said already, free agency sucks. Jared Davis, Lawson, these veterans are already hurt. So they're already behind the 8 ball with injuries a little bit. It felt pretty good up until the Lawson injury. And then once the Lawson injury came, bang. So just stick to the process. Don't go crazy. Do I think they're a 500 team? I easily think they could be a 500 team, especially because of the schedule. In football, teams underplay or overplay their talent more than any other sport. Maybe hockey, throw hockey in there as well. But the schedule, the early season schedule matters a lot. And the Jets' early season schedule is not that good. It's really not. Get that first win in Carolina and, good things can happen. So stick to the process. Let LaFleur handle Zach Wilson. Get somebody to step up on the line because, I know a lot of Jets fans are frustrated when they kept signing defensive linemen and no corners. But they should be thankful right now because, D-line is really, if you're a 4-3, D-line is really an 8-person deep position. You got to think of it as 8 starters, not 4. And yeah, Lawson and Curry are gone, but they still have quality starters. Huff, JFM, Rankins, Foley, Q. They'll need another edge guy to step up, Blair. So if they could still create pressure, they'll be fine. They'll be fine on the outside. Yeah, they'll need to upgrade next offseason, but it starts from the inside. So Wilson, 4-man pass rush, figure out that somehow, and just keep going with the process and take it day by day.
Awesome, Robby. We appreciate you hopping on a Jets Media live stream. Your Jets insight is awesome. You'll be at MetLife tonight, correct?
Yes, Jets Eagles week 3. We'll see who play. Now, are you on the train that Zach Wilson should play tonight?
You know, he played. I would prefer him not to, simply because I know Mekhi Becton's not and Elijah Vera Tucker is potentially not. So I'm a little worried about putting him out there with the backup offensive line. I definitely feel like, experience will, help him out a lot. The more live reps against a live opponent is great. But I'm on the middle, man. I can see the mindset of getting him out there. He hasn't been hit yet at all in preseason, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, you kind of want him to get hit so he knows what it's like, because if he goes into the regular season without getting hit at all, he doesn't really know what to expect. So I'm on the fence with it. If he sits, I'm totally okay with it. But if he plays, I can see the mindset. So what about you, Robby?
Yeah, you know what? I'm usually with the mindset that you play your guys. Injuries happen, play your guys, especially rookies. But I think I would sit him. Because Philly's not playing anybody. The offensive line, just get out. It's like when you're getting killed at the end of the second quarter, just take the knee and get the hell out of the locker room. That's kind of where I'm at, but that's not normally what I feel and what I think.
Yeah.
So 2 series tops.
Yeah, especially the way he's looked. If he struggled, yes, put him out there. He needs to get reps, but he's been nothing other than spectacular so far in preseason. So that's going to wrap up this stream with Robby from Jets X Factor. Make sure you guys subscribe to Jets X Factor down below in the description. Also, Robby's Twitter is there as well, and the Jets X Factor website is linked down below. So make sure you check all that great stuff out and smash that like button if you guys enjoyed Robby hopping on a Jets Media live stream. I would love to have you on again, Robby, throughout the season. Anything else you'd like to say before we get going?
No, thanks for having me. Bring me back anytime. Just remind me a million times. There's not enough hours in the day.
I got you, Robby.
Just harass. I'll come back anytime. Just harass me.
Well, I love it. Keep up the great work on Jets X Factor. We'll definitely have you on again. And everybody in the chat, say thank you to Robby. He has great Jets content all over Jets X Factor. Again, make sure you check it out. And we'll catch you guys tonight. I'll be live during the entire Jets-Eagles game. So if you want to tune in and come through for my watch play-by-play reaction, I'll be live at 7:15 tonight. So let's go Jets. Let's go 3-0 in preseason, baby.